What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday. DK Show live and on air right now on your radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com. Stream it up over there. Smart devices, smart speakers. You got the app. Take it on the go. Video stream also up and rolling. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and soon to be Instagram as well. Appreciate you making us part of your starts. Halfway through the work week already, the first day of May. What do we got on the good old game plan for us this morning? Well, hey, at least it was a decent night for both Milwaukee teams out there. Bucks keeping their season alive, even without Dame and without Giannis. Bucks able to get a Game 5 victory, 115-92 to force Game 6. That will be tomorrow night. So Bucks holding on. They're holding on right now. Doc Rivers after the game, or was it before? Regardless, last night said that Dame and Giannis, quote, very, 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 that's three varies if you're counting, very close to returning. Whether that means for Game 6 or not, who knows? But nonetheless, Bucks keeping it alive. They're keeping it alive right now. So we'll talk some hoops. But it was kind of the Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis show. All starters for the Bucks. The five starters all in double figure scoring last night. Beasley 18, Beverly 13, Brooke Lopez 12, Middleton and Portis each with 29 points. Both those dudes also with a double-double. Middleton crashing the boards last night, 12 total rebounds to lead the team. But the Bucks, thanks to kind of dominating in the second and the third quarter last night, outscoring the Pacers 30-17 in the second, and then outscoring them coming out of the half 34-19. Kind of, sealing the deal there a little bit, if you will. But yeah, Bucks staying alive, doing their best staying alive impression right now. So we'll talk some hoops coming up in just a little bit here. The latest comments from Coach and such on Giannis and Dame, and could they potentially be back for a Game 6? We shall see. And then Brewers last night, they also picked up a win, but it wasn't the main story. Before the game, it was announced Tyler Black being called up to the team, and he had himself a nice night last night in his major league debut. Freddie Peralta was dealing and looked like he was going to go deep into this game, which would have been a much, much, much needed performance from a starter to help out this bullpen that has been used a lot. But again, some umpire controversy with this thing. Freddie Peralta in the sixth went up there. He looked, again, was cruising, was at 66 pitches. Plunked guy on a 3-0 count. Without any warning, home plate ump tossed him, ejected him, saying he did it on purpose. Pat Murphy, of course, comes out, has, let's just say, disagreed with the call, argues with him. He gets ejected for the second straight night. And then later on in the game, got a little bit of a scuffle again where Abner Uribe got ejected. Jose Siri also ejected from the Rays, and Siri was the guy who got plunked a little bit earlier on, too, from Freddie Peralta. So, yeah, drama again surrounding umpire crews and the Brewers. I think the Brewers will just be happy to get this series over with and maybe send this umpire crew out of Milwaukee. I don't know when they'll have to go up against them again, but in case you're wondering, there is pool reports after the game. So Adam McCulvey from Brewers.com was able to talk to the crew chief about Freddie Peralta's ejection from last night. When asked what was the process that led to Freddie Peralta getting ejected, The answer, so Siri hit a home run, a pretty good home run. Well, that doesn't matter. He hit a home run in the top of the third, and it was a first pitch home run. So, okay, he ran the bases, whatever, and nothing was really said that we noticed. Then you go to the sixth inning, a 3-0 count, and the pitch that hit Siri went right at him. You put what happened previously in the game together, and we put it together as a crew, and we discuss all the events, and we determined as a crew that Peralta was intentionally throwing at him, and with that comes an ejection. That's really the process. When asked, was there anything notable between the two as Siri rounded the bases after his home run, umpire said, I didn't see anything. I don't think the crew saw anything. We haven't really digested the video yet. There's so much stuff that's going on the field, and once we digest the video and do all that, then ... Asked, was there anything in the two other hit by pitches in the game that struck you? No, those were breaking balls. There was no intent there that I felt or we felt as a crew. There was no intent anywhere there. And to be clear, there was no warnings issued, no warnings. So he admits that, you know, they didn't see anything when he hit a home run earlier in the game off of Freddie Peralta. Yet really believed that Peralta threw at him when Peralta was dealing, when Peralta was probably going to be pitching deep into the game and the Brewers were up at that point. Why in the world would Freddie Peralta throw at the guy? So instead of issuing warnings potentially, just throws him out. Throws him out. And then later on in the game, you had benches clearing again. I'm sorry, but there's a common player in all this. It's Siri. It's from Tampa. He's common theme in his whole. I don't know what's going on. What's going on with this crew? But that was awful. Awful decision by the umpiring crew from last night. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Luckily, it didn't affect the game for the Brewers. They were able to come away with the victory, but hopefully they can pick up another W today and send this umpiring crew on their way to their next, you know, series, whoever they're going to be going up against. But man, it's just, that one was, you could say whatever you want about the judge one. You could say whatever you want about you know, the interference from the catcher or the backswing interference from the night prior. This one to me is just unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. There's no sugarcoating it there. There's no gray area in my opinion. But just a few hours from now, just past noon here, we got our getaway day for the crew, as they will wrap up this series and begin a big-time series against the Cubbies. Nothing like going into a Cubs series where you're already, you know, maybe kind of tempers flared and maybe a little bit on edge at that point. So we'll talk some Bucks and we'll talk some Brewers throughout the morning. We got another edition of the Business of Sports coming up, brought to you by Security Financial Bank. That'll be just past the 8 o'clock hour. And do a little game time. I'm going to do a little some fun games coming up at about 7:45 over there too. I got a bench start cut. We're going to play coming up at about 7:45 too. So, as always, the texting line, the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, always open. Hit us up with your thoughts, with your texts at 715-830-1912, or join in on the chat row on the video stream, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. We'll see if we can get more people to join up with C-Bomb and such over there. So we'll get that going a little bit later on here too. So, but let's get things rolling here this morning. You can tell my voice a little bit rough this morning. So we'll make her through though. We'll make her through. So that's where I need you to send me your thoughts and be a part of the program here this morning. Let's talk some Bucks and let's talk some Brewers. Did anything from last night's Bucks game for you Bucks fans kind of like, okay, maybe they got a shot. They're down 3-2. Let me put a scenario out there for you, if you will. If Giannis and Dame return for Game 6, which is tomorrow, they're clear. They're clear to go. Can the Bucks win their next two? Will the Bucks win their next two? Will they win their next two and move on to the next series? How about this for a fun fact? This was from Malika Andrews yesterday, last night, host of NBA Today and NBA Countdown. With Giannis and Dame out, the Bucks become the first team ever to win a playoff game without their top two scorers from the regular season. That's never happened in the playoffs before. That's kind of nuts to think about that. No other team. I mean, on the surface it makes sense, but when you talk about history overall, no other team has won a playoff game without their top two scorers from the regular season. That's nuts. Bucks did it though. So, but let's talk some hoops, and then we'll talk some Brewers as well as we get set for Game 3 and that crazy game last night. But Freddie Peralta doing what an ace has to do. Well, when he was allowed to do it and stay in the game. And let's talk a little bit about Mr. Black getting called up. And he actually made his debut being a pinch runner for Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez, legging out and trying to avoid a double play. Then he had to be pulled from the game. So Tyler Black actually made his debut as a pinch runner. But then up at the plate, he collected a couple of hits as well. So pretty good debut. Playing for him going forward, according to Pat Murphy, because he does play third base, but he's focused mostly on first base and DH. So that's going to be the plan for another youngster for the Crew being called up here. So, all right, we'll get things rolling here. Join in on the convo. Join in on the fun here this morning. Quick break, and we'll get things rolling. We'll be back in just a few minutes. perks. I love perks. You love perks. We all love perks. And one of the best perks you can find in the Chippewa Valley is Hy-Vee Perks. Hy-Vee Perks is a free and easy program for Hy-Vee shoppers. Access exclusive perk prices, earn discounts on gas when you purchase designated products at Hy-Vee, and save more with exclusive deals, offers, and rewards. Best part, it's free to join. Not a part of Hy-Vee Perks yet? No worries. Just stop by Hy-Vee in Eau Claire to sign up. Start taking advantage of the best shopping deals in the Chippewa Valley right now with Hy-Vee and Hy-Vee Perks. Now that we are in the month of May, good time. Maybe got Memorial Day coming up. Got maybe starting to plan for some camping trips or some vacations and such. Load up the vehicles, load up the coolers and such. By taking advantage of some awesome deals at Hy-Vee. Some damn good burgers over at Hy-Vee the other day too. So, all right, let's get things rolling here this morning. Beginning on the leadoff, the Bucks keeping their season alive here this morning. Well, I should say last night, by taking down the Indiana Pacers in Game 5, 115-92. Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis helping lead the way for the Bucks. Portis putting up 29 points and 10 rebounds. He was actually a plus 30 last night. And then you had Middleton, 29 points, 12 rebounds over there. Each starter for the Bucks last night, double-figure scoring. Not a ton of production off the bench. Pat Connaughton, just 9 points in 32 minutes. Gallinari played 21 minutes and 4 points. It was an incredibly short bench. Those were the only two bench players to get over double-digit minutes last night. Andre Jackson Jr., just 7 minutes. After that, Jay Crowder not playing, even with a short bench. Even with Damo and Giannis out, all hands on deck, elimination game. Jay Crowder not playing. Coach's decision. Now you kind of have to wonder, off-season talk. We'll get to some off-season talk when the off-season's over with, but I think you do have to wonder about Jay Crowder's future with the team here too, because you're looking at his minutes. I mean, there ain't there either. Bud last year didn't play Jay Crowder a ton. John Horst in the front office gave up, 3 second-round picks for Crowder. They brought him back. There was obviously some frustration. So, Budenholzer's out. Crowder resigns with the Bucks. Crowder gets some minutes at the beginning of the year under Adrian Griffin. But now it just kind of seems like Crowder is back to where, his playing time is back to where it was last year at this point. So, we can get to offseason stuff when we're in the actual offseason, but I think it was kind of telling last night too to see Jay Crowder not playing a ton. You look at it at the beginning of the year. October, he averaged 26 minutes. November, he averaged 27 minutes. Then he was out for, with an injury, down to 18 minutes in the month of January. Then February, he bolstered up to 28 minutes, but then just kind of started to go down here, especially in the playoffs. Playoffs, he's only been averaging 10.5 minutes per game, 10.5 minutes per game. But Bobby Portis, after the game, I don't think it's too surprising from a lot of people, but Bobby Portis seemed to be pretty motivated in this game, considering he got ejected in Game 4, and he said after the game, "No, man, obviously I'm an emotional player. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I give my all every night. I take pride in being able to play for my team. So, Game 4, a little scuffle, whatever it is, maybe cross the line. You feel me? I let my team down by getting ejected and not being available for my team. And I pride myself so much for being available. So I owed them an apology for sure, just to let them know that what I did wasn't right. Obviously, during the moment, you feel like you didn't do anything. But then as you sit in the locker room, as the first quarter goes by, the second quarter goes by, and the whole game, you just sit there like, man, I could have helped impact the game. Just let my teammates know that my bad. I apologize for letting the team down, And I'm going to come out tonight and play as hard as I could. And he did. We finally got, one of those Bobby Portis games. We were kind of talking a little bit about it yesterday, right? We were kind of talking a little bit about it, that are we going to get a Bobby Portis game? We need a Bobby Portis scoring game. One of those nights where it's just on. He's just feeling it. And it wasn't necessarily from three. He only made one three-pointer last night. This is down low. 14 and 24. Shot 50% from the field. Chris Middleton, I got to tip my cap to Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton has been a guy that, we've questioned a lot the last few years. And he's been banged up. He's been going through injuries the last couple of years. And this is a guy that right now, he's got to carry the team. He's got to be the number one option with the injuries to Giannis and Dame. And, he suffered an ankle injury again in this series. We've seen it a couple games. Was it game 3? Game 3? I'm trying to remember if it was game 3 or not. Then it looked like he re-aggravated it in game 4. Looked like he was in a lot of pain. Game 4, he played 42 minutes. Last night he plays 40 minutes. This is a guy that, let's face it, he's got a lot of wear and tear on him. He's probably not 100%, but I got to tip my cap to him. He's going out there, and he's trying to lead this ball club. He's trying to carry them on his shoulders. And he went out there and double-double, 29 points, 12 rebounds. Led the team in rebounds, for crying out loud. Crashing the boards. It's good to see a couple of these guys like Middleton just going out there and crashing the boards after a game 4 where it was just like, Bucks out-rebounded the Pacers too, defensively and offensively, which was good to see, considering what we saw in the previous game too. But looking at Middleton and kind of looking at what he's done in this playoff series, all right? So if you're looking at in these 5 games against the Pacers, the guy is averaging 38.4 minutes per game, 26.8 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game, 5 dimes, 5 assists. He is shooting 49.5% from the field. We talk about an upcoming offseason with a lot of question marks and potential roster changes and turnovers and, roster turnover and such. But is Chris Middleton, the version we're seeing right now in this postseason, is that a version worth keeping? I know he's got a big contract number. And I'm sure there's going to be some luxury taxes and all that to move on from him. And, basketball, how many times do we see teams get creative in their trades to move on from a guy and create some cap space and such? But what we're seeing from Chris Middleton in this playoff series, is this, in your opinion, maybe worth keeping around for a little bit longer? Hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912, or comment on the video stream over there. Because you got to tip your cap to what Middleton's been doing for a guy that we have all, as Bucks fans, we have all kind of criticized, questioned. Is he done? Is he overpaid? Is he even available anymore? The guy has balled out in this postseason. He really has. So, shout out to Middleton. He has been such a key player so far. Doc also saying about the availability for Giannis and Dame, potential returns for both of those guys. I don't know how to answer that, he said. I hope. I think they're very, very, very close. That's 3 varies right there. Now, Does that mean they'll be ready to go as soon as tomorrow? Is there a little gamesmanship being played there? Who the heck knows at this point in time? I don't know. I really don't. I thought, man, my gut, I thought that maybe they were going to play. I've gone back and forth on this. I thought they were going to play. I didn't think they were going to play last night, but then I thought they were going to play last night. Then I didn't think they were going to play last night. Now I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I just know for tomorrow night's game, for Thursday night's game, for the Bucks to have any shot at continuing this series and forcing a game 7, Middleton's going to have to keep doing what he's doing. And we're going to have to need another performance like Bobby Portis had last night too. A Bobby Portis game where he's a scoring threat. I feel like if you keep the Pacers under 100 points, you've got a pretty darn good shot at winning that game. You keep the highest scoring team in the association, in the entire league, under 100 points, you're going to have a shot. They did a really good job controlling Pascal Siakam last night. He just shot the ball 12 times, only 12 points for him. No Pacers player was over 20 points. The leading scorer was Tyrese Halliburton with 16. Give credit to the defensive performance from that team last night too, from the Bucks team. It was a grind out, gritty performance. And it was won in the second and the third quarter. They ended the first half on a high note. And then they come out of the halftime and just kind of pick up where they left off in the second quarter. That's what we want to see. And that's how you're going to win game 6 and game 7. Even last night, Topin shoving Patrick Beverley a little bit. We've seen the Pacers trying to get under the skin of these Bucks players. Saw how Bobby Portis got ejected and such. Got to control the emotions, especially now with the series moving back to Indiana. And that home crowd for the Pacers over there, definitely got to keep your emotions in check. G-Man with a few texts here. Bucks, yes, and the Bucks will win the next game 122-115. Way to go, Brewers. Umpire was wrong again. What is going on with the umpires? Yes, Bucks will win the next 2 games. You can double your 401k on that. Twins are on a 9-game winning streak. Brewers and Twins in the World Series. And yes, keep cash money crisp. All right, let's take a quick break. Keep your texts coming. Hit me up, 715-830-1912, or on that video stream, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or on Instagram. Quick break. We'll talk some Brewers baseball coming up. Brewers getting a victory last night, although a little drama again with the umpiring crew. We'll talk about it coming up next. Hit the road a lot lately, or you're getting ready to we will make you better make sure your vehicle is put on all those miles. Means it's a good idea to get some new tires, get an oil change to help your vehicle perform at its best this traveling season. Where to go though? That's simple. ASAP Used Auto Parts in Eau Claire. Not only does ASAP Used Auto Parts have high quality used auto parts to help your budget, but they are also your go-to place when it comes to oil changes and new tires. So make sure your vehicle is ready to hit the road for another traveling season. Set up your appointment with ASAP Used Auto Parts today and have a safe and memorable traveling season. Speaking of backyard dreams, we're looking for some nominations. We want to help out. Be anonymous and all that too. Just head to sportstalk1051.com, click on that backyard dreams tab. We wanna give out cash to help out some people achieve their dreams, chase their goals, all that good stuff. Want to help out. So whether it's a team or whether it's an individual or maybe sending them to a ball game or maybe they need some new equipment, sports equipment, or whatever the case may be, hit us up at sportstalk1051.com. Just click on the backyard dreams tab for more info. All right. Brewers. Brewers. We've got they picked up an 8-2 victory last night. Freddie Peralta picking up his third win of the season to remain 3-0 with a 3.21 ERA. Went 5 and a third. Final line for him, giving up the home run, 7 strikeouts, no walks, 2 earned runs. Although could have went a whole lot deeper in the game. He was ejected in the sixth inning for what the umpire crew deemed as him hitting a Tampa Bay hitter, Siri, on purpose on a 3-0 count. No warnings or anything like that. They just the home plate ump deemed him that he did it on purpose, so he ejected him, which drew the ire of Pat Murphy. And Pat Murphy, for the second day in a row, getting ejected. Hey, Ricky Weeks got some managerial experience, though, more so last night than the night before. But Pat Murphy got ejected. Then later on, we had a couple more ejections. Siri and Uribe getting into it. Uribe's probably going to get suspended. He threw a slap and such. But I don't know. You got that dude who's, Jose, who's been in it, common theme in the last couple ones there. But we went through what the umpire said after the game in the pool report, and it's more puzzling to me. So this was from the pool report after the game with the home plate up. So Siri hit a home run, a pretty good home run. Well, that doesn't matter. First of all, that's like okay, pretty good home run. Well, that doesn't matter. Well, duh, doesn't matter. You're an umpire for crying out loud. He hit a home run in the top of the third, and it was a first pitch home run. So okay, he ran the bases, whatever, and nothing was really said that we noticed. And then you go to the sixth inning, the 3-0 count, and the pitch that hit Siri went right at him. You put what happened previously in the game together, and we get together as a crew, and we discuss all the events, and we determined as a crew that Peralta was intentionally throwing at him, and with that comes an ejection. That's really the process. You just said before that you didn't notice anything. You didn't notice anything. Nothing was really said. And then you get to the sixth, and then Peralta, who's dealing. Pitch count is low. You really think he's throwing them on purpose, especially at that point in the game? Brewers are up. At that point, it was it 6-0, 6-1, or no, yeah, 6-1, 6-2, yeah, 6-1, because they end up scoring in the top of the sixth there. I mean, come on, what's going on with baseball umpiring this year with Hernandez earlier on, and now you got this crew over here? I mean, for crying out loud, this is kind of ridiculous. And the explanation that they give afterwards is even more confusing. Because a follow-up question was there anything notable between Peralta and Siri as he rounded the bases after his home run? The umpire said, I didn't see anything. I don't think the crew saw anything. We haven't really digested the video yet. There's so much stuff that goes on in the field, and once we digest the video and do all that, then what? It's just it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that this was something that happened in the game last night. No warnings issued, nothing like that. Last question to him. Understanding that it's the umpire's discretion to eject a pitcher even if there are no previous warnings issued, can you clarify your thinking on that scenario? There are three options, he said. You can do nothing, you can warn, and you can eject. Those are our three options. In this situation where we got together as a crew and determined that it was intentional, our only option is to eject in this situation. If there is a situation where you think that warnings are going to be sufficient, then you can issue warnings. You can do one of those three things. I'm perplexed, confused as to why they thought that was intentional. At what point it's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that they thought that was intentional and worthy of an ejection. I don't get it. And the explanations from him afterwards make it even more confusing, especially when they admit, yeah, we didn't see anything. But baseball umpire right now, holy moly. You gotta start to figure it out right now. That's unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable. And luckily it didn't have an effect on the game. But man. So Brewers are probably wanting to get through this game later on today, just a few hours from now. Want to get this crew out of Milwaukee. And I mean, Brewers are going to be going up against this crew at some point, I would imagine, again here. But as of right now, they probably want to get this crew out of Milwaukee and just take a breather from these umpires and such. But Brewers will try to win the series. 12-10 is first pitch. Colin Ray is going to be on the mound for the crew. Colin Ray is also looking for his third win of the season and looking to remain undefeated as well. They're going up against Eflin, who's 1-3 with a 4.08 ERA so far this season for the Rays. Colin Ray, though, his previous start, kind of like Freddie Peralta last night. You know, we mentioned it. Freddie Peralta was probably looking for a bounce-back game after his previous starts against the Pirates. Peralta got that last night. Should have gone deeper into the game, too. Colin Ray, he's coming off of a no decision against the Yankees where he went 6 innings, 5 earned runs on 4 hits. You know, maybe a little bit more of a bounce back there, game 2. Lowering down on those runs, if you will. So he'll be looking for his third win of the season. But also yesterday, too, before the game was announced, and we got to see him in the game, too, Tyler Black being called up, one of the top prospects for the Brewers, getting called up. Brewers looking for a little bit of an injection of offense. He comes in and he actually made his debut on the base paths because Sanchez had to be pulled after running through first base, trying to avoid a double play there. So Tyler Black actually made his debut as a base runner, stayed in the game and collected a couple of hits, including a double and such. So, you know, Black, it sounds like the plan for him for right now, at least, is to focus on first base and DH. First base and DH. That's according to Pat Murphy before the game yesterday. You know, he's third baseman coming up as third base, but he's been getting some time at the minor league level, first base and such. So right now, when you look at the third base options for the Brewers, it makes sense for Black to be kind of a first base DH type of role for him here, because you've got Ortiz over there at third base. You know, you could put Sal Frelick if you wanted to over there as well. But it'll be interesting too. with Black coming up, I want him to get at bats. That's the thing too, is like when you call him up, make sure he's getting some work, getting some at bats. You got Hoskins at first, you got Sanchez as a DH option. Now we'll see with his hamstring and such, he might be missing some time. So that gives Black some more opportunities for some ABs and some playing time at first base. But you got a Hoskins and such over there that you got quite a few guys who can play first. I just hope that Tyler Black gets an opportunity to play as much as possible almost every single day, whether it's just DHing or playing, also playing in the field, because he ain't doing anything if you just bring him up and he's sitting on the bench. You want to get that guy some more work in there. But it'll be exciting to see what he can do. I mean, he got off to a fantastic start last night with a couple of hits there. So, and it was cool. There was a cool story too. His parents apparently had to end their Cancun vacation a little bit earlier to make it up in time to Milwaukee and watch their son's major league debut. But this is another guy that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. When could he make his debut? What position will he play? What role will he have for this team when he's up there? And right now it looks like it's mostly first base and DH. That doesn't mean he won't play any third base. I'm sure there's going to be opportunities, or there's going to be times where he gets plugged in at third base, whether it's because of injuries or subs and double substitutions and such. But I'm excited to see what Tyler Black can bring to the table for this team. But given how the offense has been playing, they needed a little bit of an injection. And last night, the team put up 8 runs. So, again, first pitch, 12-10, and then an off day for the Crew before that weekend series against old friend Craig Counsell and the Chicago Cubbies. This one will be in Chicago, not in Milwaukee. That's not until Memorial Day when the Cubbies come to Milwaukee. But with the win yesterday by the Crew, Brewers are now back up in first place in the division by a half a game over the Cubbies. So I want to play this clip. This was actually from Tyler Black's dad, who's not, I believe, too. So let me see if I can play this. It's not going to work. I'll get it up coming up here in a second. That one wasn't the greatest link there. We'll pull it up here, but just I love seeing the videos, and Sophia Minert does such a fantastic job with the parents of players, anybody who's watching the game and such. Let's see if this one is it going to work now for me. Is the audio clip going to work? Come on, technology. No, it's got for my boy Tyler Black. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, his dad called Blue Jay games on TV. It looks like back in the early 2000s. So there's a base in it for my boy Tyler Black. That's got to be so cool as a parent to see that. So awesome, good stuff. All right, coming up next hour, we're gonna do got a little class in session. Speaking of baseball, it's kind of a big day in baseball history. A couple of notable nuggets we're gonna get to. We're gonna play a little bench start cut coming up at the back end of the hour. We'll get back to some hoops talk as well, and more baseball talk as well too. We got a business of sports brought to you by Security Financial Bank. We'll hit that up at about 8:05 this morning. So we'll get to that at about 8:05 this morning. But throwing this question out to you, Bucks fans, with the way that Chris Middleton has been playing in this series against the Pacers, he's been asked to do a whole lot more, and the guy's been coming through. Bucks fans, is it worth it to keep him around, given what you have seen from playoff Chris, playoff Cash Money right now? Guy has been asked to play a lot of minutes, carrying the team, being the offensive dude. And for the most part, I think he's done a pretty darn good job. Is that enough to maybe keep him around? I think we all know that this Bucks team is going to be going through some roster changes next year or this upcoming offseason. But do you keep Chris Middleton around, considering what you've seen from him so far in this postseason run? Yay or nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know. Hit me up with a text, okay? Or comment on the video stream over there if that's easier for you. So we'll get back to your thoughts on that a little bit later on, kind of an informal poll question that we got going on over there. So, plus we'll get back to some more Brewers talk. 20s, as G-Man mentioned too, 9 wins in a row for the 20s. Definitely taking advantage of who's on their schedule. Don't apologize for it, though, Twins fans. Twins ain't apologizing for it. They shouldn't. Win the games that you're supposed to win, and that's exactly what the Twins are doing right now. So, all right, we'll finish up the first hour with Morgan. Morning, Morgan.
Are you a little stuffy?
I'm getting over something, yeah. So today the voice is really struggling.
It's not allergies, though? Everybody says the allergies are kicking in right now.
Veronica was sick, and then I got it.
You got pegged.
Mm-hmm.
So I happen to be reading a book right now, and I thought of you. Have you heard of Shoe Dog?
Shoe Dog? Yeah, it's the Nike one.
Yeah, the story of Nike. It's actually really good. It's really interesting. So parents, if you forked over money for sports shoes right now, or Blazers, or your third pair of Jordans for your kids, because their feet
just got a new
crazy.
pair of Nikes.
Did he? What did he pick out?
Just some blue and green ones.
Okay.
That he thinks looks like Giannis's, but
there you go.
Yeah.
Got to get the 34 on.
Yeah.
So Siggy plays in a pair of Giannis basketball shoes, actually. So obviously it's an empire. The book's really interesting, but it made me think about shoe endorsement brands. Did you back in the day have anything that was big? Because we grew up during like the Adidas phase, which if you didn't know, Adidas and Puma are basically brothers that hate each other. Those two companies are two German companies, and those brothers just hate each other with a passion. And so Adidas and Puma obviously are rivals. Nike swooshed in and, rose to the top of the list. But back in the day, were you an Adidas guy or a Reebok guy, or you got No Bull, New Balance, if you're going to go dad style, Skechers? What was the shoe du jour in your closet growing up?
When I was like junior high and such, I was a Reebok.
You were?
Because Shaq was Reebok.
Okay, was this like the pump era when Reebok had the pump?
Yeah.
Okay, no, did you have those?
I did not have the pumps, though.
Okay.
I scoped the clearance aisles at East Bay.
All right.
Like the catalog.
Oh, absolutely.
On East Bay.
Everyone remembers East Bay. Going through and circling everything. You want to put your outfits together there?
Yep.
Pretty fly for a white guy?
Yep. So, yeah, I was initially a Reebok just because of Shaq.
No, in this, one of the things they talk about in the book was Adidas pretty much quartering the market. And this was before athletic shoes really even a thing. This was something that was inaugurated kind of in the track and field world with coaches trying to get shoes that would help their runners perform better. And while they were still on cement, this was before the rubberized tracks and all of that kind of stuff that aided in running too.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting that way. But Adidas was the big market leader. That's what everybody was wearing.
Well, that's what Jordan wanted. When he first came in the league, he wanted to be Adidas.
Right. Yeah. And then now look how it turned. I mean, I think he's probably not going to walk back on his decision here with the Jordan Empire and Nike. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how the whole thing came about. Now, if you had to pick an endorsement, what would your shoe company be and what would you call it?
What would my shoe company be?
You got to think about this. What brand, I would say, what existing brand would you line up with? And then what would your shoe look like?
I've gone back and forth between Nike and Adidas.
Okay. Does it have anything to do with comfort, or is it all looks at this point?
Oh, there's comfort now for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're
at that age, I'm more about comfort and what lasts a little bit longer.
Funny how that happens, because when you're young, it doesn't matter if it's pinching the crap out of your toes. You're like, these ones fit. These Jordans go
I know
home.
what I would call it. I got 5 seconds. It'd just be called prime time.
Prime time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Dion, but I'll take it. Second hour kicking off right now on this first day of May, halfway through the work week. Appreciate you all tuning in, however, wherever you may be tuning in from. Coming up, we'll get back to some more hoops chats here with the Bucks keeping their season alive with the W from last night. Brewers picking up a win last night. Still some drama surrounding that, but they'll try to win the series. A few hours from now, first pitch, 12:10. We got a day game before the Brewers get an off day tomorrow, and then go visit their friends just a little bit south of them, the Chicago Cubbies, an old friend, Craig Counsell over there. So we'll get to all that. We got a business of sports coming up in about an hour from now, brought to you by Security Financial Bank. It's a good day for the long-winded Luke Anthony to join us because of my voice here. So welcome aboard there, Lucas.
Well, thank you very much. And on that point, I would like to go back to. I'm starting to start.
You'll get there. So.
By the way, what happened to your voice?
Veronica got sick, so then I got sick. So.
You know what? I thought I saw Veronica in the grocery store the other day, so there's a chance I still could have gotten whatever she has. It could have floated its way through the grocery store. I might have. So.
I couldn't tell you.
I hope I get through these 2 hours. Okay.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Like mine didn't last as long as hers did. So we're good.
The good news is the studio over here is officially a sauna today.
I was gonna say I was in there earlier. I was like, holy crap.
Have we talked for the people to know about what we've been enduring the past several months here in this building?
I think if everybody just listens to the auto trim commercial that you did, that's kind of gives you a background of what like it's like in this building.
Yes, it's hot. it's hot. Really hot. The HVAC system went out. It was a power surge thing. It killed
back in the winter.
Cooling. Yeah, and then it got really hot in here. Nelly lyrics, etc. Yeah. Thankfully today, literally on the day that like it goes into overdrive is when we're getting the temporary fix and then the permanent fix. And finally we can stop running 16 fans at any given moment in the building.
I think every room has a fan. Like I've got a fan going. You've got a fan going.
You know, actually my end of the building, that's the quote unquote new part. Mm-hmm. It's actually okay.
Wow.
That's why I've been spending basically all my time there. Like I don't go to the side of the building if I can't. My wife's all work from home now. She's like, nope. Yeah. I'm not coming in anymore.
If anybody has seen the movie Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, it is exactly like the rhino scene when he's in there and it's hot. Maybe not exactly like that where people are taking clothes off, but it's that where he goes warm. Yeah, that's like that. So
remarkably, everybody has stayed fully clothed in this building throughout the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
But summer is approaching, and I think that we'd be testing that. So it's just as well that we get this fixed today.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Nobody wants that other option.
Yeah. So we're actually going to kick off this hour with a little class in session because I was looking at this once in a while. I'll take a look at a little history nuggets this day in sports history. There's actually a few very notable baseball ones today. So let's go through some of them. I'm going to save one of them for the last, even though it was the first one here. But 1920 was the day that Babe Ruth hit his first home run as a New York Yankee. Was today. It was actually his 50th of his career, but his first as a Yankee. The reason I bring that up, because Mickey Mantle, 31 years later, hit his first home run, 1951. So, also on this day, 1926, Satchel Paige made his pitching debut in the Negro Southern League. Those are some big, heavy names right now in baseball history. And then 1884, Moses Walker became the first African-American player in Major League Baseball. So I was looking this up a little bit more. That made sense. I was reading. So it says here, through research by the Society for American Baseball Research, it indicates that William Edward White was the first African-American baseball player in the major leagues. Walker, unlike White, though, White apparently passed as a white man and self-identified as such, was the first to be open about his black heritage and to face the racism that prevailed in the late 19th century. So that's why he kind of gets credited as the first one there, because he acknowledged he was, sort of thing. So, but his career, he played 42 games. He was 263, 40 hits, 23 runs scored, played for the Toledo Blue Stockings. Toledo Blue Stockings of the American Association in 1884. Also played, was a star athlete at Oberlin College as well as the University of Michigan in 1884. So
cool.
Some big-time baseball history nuggets. May 1st was a big day. Also, Ricky Henderson stole his 1,000th base this day in 92.
Wow.
So,
this was a pretty big day.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here. If you want to really go back, 1883 in Philadelphia, the first National League game was played since 1876.
My gosh. Has a manager ever been ejected 3 games in a row? Because Pat Murphy could make history today if that's...
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that out.
I think because we haven't had baseball games yet today, so maybe something else could happen somewhere across the country or maybe Canada later on.
I'll have to see consecutive Major League Baseball manager ejected consecutive games.
Mm-hmm.
And we need a research department.
We do. Like, who's our own, Sabre Western Wisconsin affiliate or something?
Something like that, or, some, yeah. I don't know. I'll have to look at it later. I'll have to look at it later. I'm not coming up with the correct keywords to get an easy answer for this, but I gotta wonder if Bobby Cox would be up there. I mean, the dude's got the most, I think he's got the most ejections of all time.
Games in a row with a baseball ejection.
Well, that's got to be manager in there, right? So
yeah, it's going to take a little bit to look that up, but we'll see if we can find something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bobby Cox has the all-time ejection, but yeah, I think Earl Weaver's been ejected twice in one day.
We'll see if we can find it.
Yeah,
well, yeah, we'll see if we can find it over there. So, not to kind of go down here too much of it, but just your general thoughts on what your Vikings did in the draft, by the way.
It's risky with what they gave up for getting Dallas Turner, but all in all, I'd say I'm happy with it. It's interesting observing the national assessments, which of course we know don't always hold. I mean, we've seen this so many times.
That's why we don't grade people.
Right, exactly. But there are plenty of grades out there. By the way, we can let Mel Kiper grade because that's his thing. After that, no. It seems to be either wow, what great moves, or oh my gosh, they overpaid. What the bleep were they doing? Granted, there seems to be a lot of teams that are kind of in that boat right now. I mean, maybe not to that extreme and not to a Falcons level of full on WTF, but there does seem to be a wave of that throughout this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the Vikings. I mean, I guess this was the year to get a quarterback. You don't know if next year someone would get better and who would they be in position, et cetera, et cetera. It was close to a best case scenario in terms of acquisition to only move up one pick. I was concerned that someone was going to slip up to number 10. So you didn't really give up much to get probably the lesser sure thing between him and Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner, in terms of the fall, was, oh my gosh, what a pick. That was great. Now they've got that little issue of, are they punting on next year's draft because they don't want to have the Vikings name come up in Green Bay? Is that what it is? They just don't want people booing? What's the deal? I trust they know what they're doing and they're going to find ways to get draft picks. Who was talking about this? It's one of the pods I was listening to yesterday. I think it was Andrew Brandt. He was basically saying, I mean, for all that we criticize picks, he didn't put it quite in these terms, but the scouts know more than we do. They're paid to do this. So and front office personnel. So I'm trusting that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah knows there's a relatively easy way to get more draft picks back next year. He's not really going to go in with 3 total draft picks in the 2025 draft. Come on. So the trades will look better in that regard. Defense is going to get, I mean, the secondary is not going to look that great, but the front line is going to look really good. And McCarthy, it's going to be a while. That's honestly the answer for that. We'll see what happens, but he's in a good spot. Did you think more about the question I had last week? Best coach and quarterback fit? Because it turned out to the 4 scenarios worked out perfectly.
Excuse me. So to recap, it's Caleb Williams with Matt Eberflus in Chicago, Drake May, Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels has Cliff Kingsbury. Drake May's got Alex Van Pelt.
Yeah.
I'm going based off my head. The fact that I know it's Alex Van Pelt, New England, is just ridiculous. Why would I know that? And then, I mean, here's the thing. You've got the better coach to go with. When I say you, the Vikings have the better coach to go with the quarterback. The thing that's just giving me the pause on that is, like, I don't know if I'm fully on board with J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
That's the only thing that's giving me a pause right now.
Understandable. That a lot of people are not quite sure.
The Michael Penix one, I'm just throwing that one out because that just doesn't make sense.
Raheem Morris and Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah. I do think Jane Daniels can work with Cliff. I think if Cliff Kingsbury, to me, is more of an offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach than he can be as a head coach.
Like, we're not even really counting Dan Quinn in this. This is more of the assistant.
I'm looking at, the position. And then Shane Waldron at Chicago, I think, is the offensive coordinator, the former Seahawks coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to look what he did with Geno Smith. He made that work, and I think he's getting an improvement there, but you've got the better coach. The J.J. McCarthy thing is what's giving me pause to give it to Minnesota.
Which is probably just as well that they're going to take, by all accounts, the longest amount of time to get him ready. I understand the argument of Chicago is maybe the best place right now because of the structure in place, the personnel in place, more so than the coaching. But this is purely a coaching question: who can have the best on-field relationship? And I'm inclined to still say it's O'Connell, but I was high on O'Connell with quarterbacks, mind you, not necessarily even the whole team, but with quarterbacks. McCarthy, in terms of growth, I would say that hands down, he's in the best spot to become a good quarterback. Now we'll see if that actually happens.
Mm-hmm. Minnesota, for all the talk about Atlanta trying to follow the Green Bay model, I love that it's being termed now the Green Bay model.
Draft and develop?
Yeah. Minnesota should be the team that does that. That one I could see, you got Sam Darnold, but you sit McCarthy, for a year at least. That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it was O'Connell was asked the question on day 3 on NFL Network for the draft coverage, and he kind of bypassed it, said it is a typical coach answer. When he was asked, is McCarthy does he have any shot to be the starter or anything like that? But you can't go out there and say, well, yeah, he's got to start, or say no. You kind of go down the line, right? You go in the middle, and that's what O'Connell did. So, but if I'm Minnesota, no, I don't. I go in thinking Darnold's going to be the guy. My question is, what if Darnold plays really well?
And interesting you say that. I don't think he's going to play really well, but the little bits of
say he plays like a Case Keenum did for you guys in 2017.
Right. The projection of what he could potentially do is it's like a poor man's Case Keenum, which, wow, talk about a double layered statement. But that's kind of where the Vikings become this potential 8-win team. And now, hey, could Sam Darnold lead them to the playoffs? You start hearing that around week 9 or so, because again, he'll be working under O'Connell. And with having Jefferson out there, whenever Hawkinson is back to full strength, having Jones in the backfield, etc., and what now seems like a more stable offensive line. Yeah, the biggest thing for the Vikings is not winning the Super Bowl this year. It's about getting McCarthy developed, so you have him for the long term and being a really solid number 1 quarterback for 7 to 14 years. That's the utopia. Get through this year somewhat stable. You could make the argument of if the bottom falls out and they win 2 games, well, great, good draft pick. But it's really more that there's not this feeling that you need to have J.J. McCarthy. That Darnold is throwing so many interceptions that, oh my gosh, we just need to do that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think your Case Keenum analogy, there's some variation of that I think could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see it.
With that, let's take a quick break, and we're going to play a little game, a little bench, start, cut. Okay, and I've got 3 NFL teams I'm going to give you, and you got to bench one, you got to start one, you got to cut one, kind of based off the next, let's say, couple years. All right, kind of like a stock, which one you buying, sort of thing. But I'm going to give you 3 teams, and there are 3 teams we did not talk about yet. Very random 3 teams, but I think kind of interesting forecasts, if you will, to use some weather terminology for you. How about that?
Okay.
So,
like it.
Take a quick break, and we're going to play a little game. Bench, start, cut. Coming up after these quick words. This is the time of year where we start to get a little bit more active, whether it's playing in a weekend ball tournament or doing some projects around the home or yard. Our bodies are moving around a bit more. And it may also be your reminder about your achy joints, or maybe you got a little bit banged up rounding those bases, trying to turn a single into a double. Whatever the case may be, you don't have to live with that pain. Just visit Chippewa Valley Orthopedics in Sports Medicine and let the team there help you get back on the field of play, or just getting back to doing some home projects. Whether it's a knee, shoulder, or any other orthopedic issue, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics in Sports Medicine will help you live that pain-free life. Just visit cvosm.com to get started. All right, let's do a little we're going to call Wednesdays now game time. I play some random games here or there.
Okay.
We're going to do a little bench start cut. I think we're all familiar with bench start cut, right? You bench one, give you 3 options. You bench one, you start one, and you cut one. Okay?
Yes.
So since we were talking about a little football there, let's do a little game time right now. So I'm going to give you 3 teams, and they're based off of kind of the next. I don't want to say 5 years. I want to say the next couple of years here, okay? Because I think they've got some interesting forecasts, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
First one is the Bears. Okay, we know Caleb Williams, Rome, and all the receivers are there. Bears fans are, as the kids say, lit right now. They're excited. The Steelers, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, quarterback, a little bit. Well, who's going to be the future quarterback for the next couple of years? From all accounts, a lot of draft experts love what they did in draft. They beefed up that offensive line, right? And the Cowboys for different reasons a little bit here.
All in.
All in, and, Dak and all that. So, obviously, if you're starting one, you're buying kind of some futures with the next couple of years with that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bench, it's like, probably in the middle of the pack. Cut, no, thank you. Don't want any of that. And I'll let you kind of use your barometer, like, okay, in the next couple of years, yeah, this is going to be a championship team or a playoff team or something like that. I'll let you kind of do it however you want.
Yeah.
So
okay. The funny thing is, my cut probably is going to perform the best of all of these.
It's the Cowboys, isn't it?
Yep. And I'm cutting them one because I would just as soon rather not ever have to talk about them until they actually do something in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's the ceiling. When are they going to break through that?
Yeah. The roof is the ceiling. Thank you, Michael.
We get Michael Jordan to run that team. Now that probably wouldn't go well. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I would start the Bears.
Really?
Yeah. Like, they seem to be doing a lot of right things, which is funny because about a little over a year ago, it looked like they were not. But now that we're seeing a bit more of what Ryan Poles has done and who they've got on the team and who they've drafted, this is all. There's also a fair amount of projection, but kind of like the upside. Plus, if Caleb Williams is the guy that we're all being told he's going to be, then yes, of course you would want that as your future. He's the sure thing. But I know we've had a lot of sure things that dud. But okay, so we'll now all we have are the projections.
Mm-hmm.
So they're my start team. So by process of elimination, and I would probably make them the bench team anyway, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Maybe come back out off the bench and perform well enough. Like, you don't want to get rid of them because they're always they have a higher ceiling than the Cowboys. That's my 3. What about you?
I am also cutting the Cowboys. Although I think they are I think they're a playoff team, but that's not enough, right?
No,
that's not enough.
No.
I mean, for crying out loud, when you still have the knock of last time you were in a conference championship game, you got to go back to the mid-90s, for crying out loud.
We are one season away. We can get through this year. The 30th anniversary.
Think about that.
Their last Super Bowl and their last conference championship game appearance.
Yeah, think about that.
30 years.
Last one was when they beat the Packers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Super Bowl 30.
Yep.
Think about that.
I was in high school.
Man.
I'm in my 40s now.
I was in, at that time, I was 4th grade.
I was not yet on the internet. Okay, It's been a long freaking time, and I'm here for it.
I remember it being fourth grade because Packers won Super Bowl 31 when I was in fifth grade, but I remember in fourth grade, my good buddy Frank, one of my best friends, is a Cowboys fan. And our teacher, Mrs. Walhart, diehard Packers fan. The Friday before the NFC Championship game, Frank wore a Cowboys jersey. She made him go out in the hall.
Wicked.
I loved it.
See that rivalry messed up other, like, again, I think I've told this story. I was rooting for the Packers because I hated the Cowboys so much.
Yeah.
It got to that extreme. Like, what am I doing? But that team annoyed me.
I just remember that. I'm like, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
It was like for a minute or two or something like that, but it's like, no, you can go in the hall.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, it's so cool. So no, I'm cutting. I'm cutting the Cowboys here. I don't know what that like you kind of said too. I think they're a playoff team, but I mean, for crying out loud, it's not good over there.
Mm-hmm.
The stock's falling. The stock's falling.
Yeah.
I'm benching the Bears. Yes, they've got a lot of talent now, a lot of young talent. I still need to see them actually do something with that talent first. And coach is a lame duck right now. You know, he's a lame duck, and yes, he got some new assistants coming in here, but could he have potentially gotten a better staff if there was some, stability beyond this year? Like how many guys would have been willing to sign up if they knew the coach was going to be there long term? So I still have apprehensions on that. It's a lame duck situation. Like we all know, if the Bears don't do anything this year, Matt Eberflus is gone, and then you're essentially kind of starting over.
Yeah.
So they got the talent. I still just need to see them actually do something with offensive talent. So I'm starting the Steelers because if there's anybody that's just been a model of consistency, it's Mike freaking Tomlin. Like how many years now have we said, yeah, Steelers aren't doing it, and then somehow they squeak into playoffs or they've got a winning record. Like they're not supposed to, yet they still do. And I think Russell Wilson's actually going to have a better year this year, a solid year under Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. You got Najee Harris over there. You got George Pickens over there. They've beefed up their offensive line. T.J. Watt, best defensive player in the league. So I'm going with the Steelers because they bring in Patrick Queen. They got Minka Fitzpatrick back there. I'm done doubting Mike Tomlin right now. I'm probably going with the Steelers for the next couple of years. Because then I look at that division too. Are the Bengals going to be – I think the Bengals are going to be a player, but are they going to be a player like they were a couple years ago? You got some drama, but guys won out, T. Higgins and Hendrickson and all that, but they still got Burrow. They still got Jamar Chase. Ravens lost a lot of guys, but they still got Lamar Jackson and such, and Harbaugh, again, is model of Mr. Consistent. Browns got a lot of talent too, but are they going to be able to, kind of be consistent? I'm done doubting Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done doubting him as a guy. I really liked what the Steelers did in the draft by bringing in Zach Frazier at center over there. Then they got their left tackle and Fountain, and then Peyton Wilson, if he can stay healthy, is going to be a huge steal at the linebacker position. So yeah, I'm riding with the Steelers.
It's tougher for me between the Bears and the Steelers. It fell in place in my mind fairly easily, but I'm also not hardcore passionate about it because, like I said with the Bears, you can go back not that long ago and it looked like they were making some really questionable decisions, and there's a lot of projection. The Steelers have a good track record.
Mm-hmm.
Even if oddly they seem to be a team that attracts really drama-oriented skill players. That is one of the more random circumstances in any pro team I've noticed of late. You think about it. How many teams that are like known for one characteristic have like a really opposite characteristic in like a thread?
Mm-hmm.
Very stable, conservative, like small C conservative, like traditional franchise, and then potential wackadoodles who come in every so often. But it's like one guy at a time.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? I don't know. And they're not always bad. It's just a little crazy. But I could see them also like again, I'm not expecting a 3-14 Pittsburgh Steelers team anytime soon.
Right.
They're always there. They're where the Cowboys have a ceiling, the Steelers have a floor.
Right.
And they're not going below like 6 or 6. Gosh, even 6 wins sounds like an insult.
Mm-hmm. Realize too, they've got a few bad. This is a Badger heavy team if you think about it. Russell Wilson, former Badger, now it's on there.
Pack full of Badgers.
Yeah. TJ Watt. You got Keanu Benton, and then you got Nick Herbig. So I mean, they've got Badgers all across the board.
And funny thing is, their arch rival is Packers East, or as we've used to call them that. Then maybe that's not apt anymore. You got Badgers East right on the other side of the state border.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Funny how that works.
Right. Exactly. So, but yeah, let me ask. So let's play another game here now too.
Okay.
With the Steelers here, quick, not to be all Steelers here. Who's the starting quarterback? Not this year, but the following year.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep. Justin Fields or Russell Wilson?
Ooh. I don't like the way Fields has trended of late. Like, I think I thought higher of him and then was watching the actions of teams. And by that, I really mean the Bears and Steelers, but also the market. Now the option thing. Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really going to happen. I think I'm really beginning to think that the Broncos year was not that Russell Wilson is going to turn back to let Russ cook. Russell Wilson, he's probably past that. But I think this was a nightmare year in Denver, and there'll be enough stability that'll stick around. I wouldn't be surprised if Fields is back as a backup, but I'm going to go with Russ. What do you say?
I'm going to go with Russ, but you just said that. I think both will be back for the following year, and then Justin Fields will be the starter in a couple years.
I wonder, though, if they try to move to get another quarterback at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let everything else play out around the league, because there's going to be some quarterback that suddenly gets into like oh my gosh, he's available. We don't know who that is.
Right.
And I wonder if Russell Wilson isn't doing quite that well, or there are financial considerations and they're not in on Fields, if they suddenly become a player that way.
Because Wilson is 10 years older than Justin Fields. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is...
He's been around a little while now.
Decade older than Justin Fields. So, the one thing though too that I'm really curious to see is how Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator now, builds this offense. You know what I mean? Like, because there was some like questionable stuff when he was with Atlanta, like not using Bijan Robinson enough, and the skill players they had down there.
A little too much Ritter.
Yeah. Now was that again? Will he be better suited as an offensive coordinator where he can just focus on the offensive side and not have to be the head coach? Remains to be seen, right? I mean, he was decent as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee. I know a lot of Atlanta fans that were pumped about the Arthur Smith signing or hiring when he got hired. Mm-hmm. So maybe it'll be better where he can just strictly focus on calling offensive plays.
Not every coordinator can be a good head coach, and maybe that was the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as that, and now he's going to be under a definite head coach.
Right. Yes.
So everyone will know their role, and maybe Smith can. I feel pretty good about that hire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a quick break here. We're going to finish up the second hour. Let's get back to some hoops talk. Bucks picking up a win last night to extend their season and staying alive right now, while Luke's T-Wolves get a rematch against the Nuggets on Saturday. So, we'll talk some playoff hoops coming up after these quick words. We know Carpet City Flooring Center is your go-to place for all of your flooring needs, carpet, tile, vinyl, plank. Here's the two things that separate Carpet City Flooring Center from the rest. They don't just have flooring options. Looking for a backsplash in your kitchen or improvements to your shower tile? They got that too. And they're not just a place to go where you buy the product and then you're stuck finding someone to install it for you. Carpet City Flooring Center will help set you up with an amazing install team to get your new floor or tiles put in. So if you're a current homeowner and you want to do a little remodeling in the bathroom, living room, or any space in your home, make Carpet City Flooring Center your only stop. They'll help you find what will look amazing in your home, function the best, and work with you on what fits within your budget. They want to be on your team. They want to be your teammate for your home remodeling project. They want to help make your home something to be proud of. Whether it's a new floor you're looking at or getting a backsplash put in, stop on in and chat with the awesome family at Carpet Flooring Center in Eau Claire. I think this is the Bucks theme song right now, Staying Alive. Lucas?
Right about the same time as they Green and Growing was issued, so very 70s themed.
Some of these weird lyrics. Yeah. Oh, Bucks staying alive though.
Yeah, my gosh.
Staying alive.
Was this all are like you getting Red Sox Yankees 04 vibes? Don't let them get one.
No.
No.
But
hey, they do have Giannis and Dame very possibly coming back for the next two.
3 varies, according to Doc Rivers. Very, very, very close, he said.
Okay. That's
I don't know where on the scale of varies.
I think that's extremely.
I don't know. It's tomorrow already. So I threw out the question yesterday before the game. I mean, if there is concern that this could, if they go and play and there's a high level of risk of them, getting hurt that could affect next year, do you play them? It was a resounding no from everybody. And I would agree with that. You don't. And I mean, I think a lot of it is because, do you think they can win a championship this year?
Well, okay. That question's a little more interesting with Kristaps Porzingis getting injured.
That's true. He's got the same injury as Giannis.
Yeah. So if Kristaps isn't playing in the conference finals, and yes, we're presuming that the Celtics make their way through probably Cleveland or Orlando. So presume that. Now you're in the NBA finals, and then anything can happen. Now, granted, the way Denver, Minnesota, Oklahoma City have looked thus far, would you take the Bucks over any of those 3 teams? No. But to get to the finals with the experience of I'm going way out here, but there is experience there that is lacking with the Thunder. It's somewhat lacking with the Timberwolves. It's not lacking with the Nuggets. I mean, if it's Milwaukee, Denver, okay, thank you, good night. You might as well at that point. This would be terrible, but you might as well rest Giannis and Dame.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, this is going to be a 4-0 series, fine. But that it's a consideration now. If the point is to win a championship, there is a path now where even a week ago, or not maybe a week ago, let's say when Dame got injured,
Friday,
that path was not there. With the Porzingis injury, I can't be 100% convinced to not play them. But I understand that point of if you don't think you're going to win this year and you think there's maybe a better chance of injuring them to cause problems for next year, then you kind of have to wave the white flag under that scenario.
I feel like if they don't play tomorrow night and somehow the Bucks go into Indiana and win, they play Game 7.
In that case, yes. There's a little more healing involved, of course.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big if. Now it goes back to Indiana, which I know the Bucks were close on Friday, but Dame was playing in that game too. So I don't have a good. I don't even want to speculate whether they're going to play or not. I think the whole Giannis one, he has been out a little bit longer, I think, than a lot of people expected so far.
Yes, for sure.
And that just gives me a little bit of concern. Like, is there a real concern that, you know what, like KD a few years ago where he was dealing with a calf issue, he goes out there and plays, and then what happens? He ruptures his Achilles.
Right.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to miss next year. Is it worth it to go out there with the risk of potentially then missing next year?
Yeah.
I don't think the Bucks are willing to do that.
Yeah. Because then you're down 2 years of championships.
Right.
That's even worse. And now you're starting to get out of peak time where like the whole Giannis Dame thing just is not a thing. Because then you're talking 25-26 season before this can happen. And how healthy is Dame Lillard by then?
Right.
Giannis, I think, is still holding up pretty well by then, but then this has come and gone.
Has Chris Middleton, though, this has been a dude that has been under fire for a long time, last few years here for Bucks fans. He's not a number 2. He's overpaid. He can't stay healthy. Move on from him after this year. But you look at what he's done in this series. He's had to step up and kind of be the leader. This is a guy. Last night, he played 40 minutes. 3 straight games, he's played 40 minutes or more. He's averaged 38.4 minutes in this playoff series, 26.8 points per game, 9.4 rebounds, 5 assists. Chris Middleton is doing everything, and I would say even a little bit more to try to keep this team afloat right now.
I mean, he's the most valuable player of the team at this point.
I mean, his 42 on Friday and those game-tying three-pointers that he had, I mean, that was cash money, right? That was clutch cash money that we saw a few years ago. I got to tip my cap to him. And he's banged up too, remember? He looked like he sprained his ankle. He was even questionable for, what was it, I think, heading into Game 3. And then he re-aggravated it. I mean, he was limping pretty good. The guy goes out there and plays almost the entire game. I got to tip my cap to the guy.
Yeah, it's because he's had so many injuries over time that we think less of him. We collectively think less of him. Because when he's good, oh my gosh. And it doesn't happen that often, but when he's like really, really good, he's sublime. And we're seeing that now. He's probably, I mean, he might have to carry them to in Game 6. He might have to.
It's got to be, I think, what happened last night. Middleton, Portis from an offensive standpoint too. But if you can hold Indiana to under 100 points, I think you've got a really good shot to win.
Yeah. It depends on how hot the Pacers get. I think the Pacers' cold game was last night, which makes me wonder if they're going to turn it back on again. Indiana's going to be crazy. Like the field house is going to be nuts. If there's no Giannis, no Dame, the series ends tomorrow, would be my prediction.
All right.
I think it's too much for Milwaukee to pull off. But if they're back, Bucks win the series.
If it goes to Game 7, Bucks win.
Yeah, because then they're at home. Bucks fans are going to turn and like, well, oh my gosh, we got this. Because they can turn back on. There's probably going to be a little bit of a memory of what Halliburton said about the quality of I mean, there was obviously the other thing was heinous.
Right.
But then there's also what he said about, Milwaukee fans weren't that great. They're going to remember
what do you say that he's had louder games, regular season games in Indiana,
right,
in the playoff atmosphere.
They'll
in Milwaukee,
remember that for Game 7 if it gets that far.
But
that's also that's the fandom. What do the players do? I think everyone being back, Pacers might be going, wait, what's happening here? We thought we had the series. And that's how the Bucks end up winning.
The biggest thing I think too for the Bucks tomorrow is to control your emotions, Bobby Portis, because Indiana's probably going to try to push that needle again, right?
Yeah.
They're going to try to push, try to cross the line, try to get them a little animated, try to get them, creeping their heads and all that. Shut it down.
Okay, so
shut it down.
So this is why you got Doc Rivers, to have a coach that knows exactly what to do in high pressure situations. This is it. All right, Doc. Make sure Bobby Portis doesn't get easily triggered. Make sure your team locks down on defense. All of that really has to. I mean, he's the most critical person as far as I'm concerned tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Giannis and Dame are there, and even then, I think it's probably on Rivers to make sure they're properly used given their health situation.
I'm going to throw a crazy thought out. Bucks win the next 2 without Giannis and Dame somehow. Doc Rivers coached the year already.
Wow.
To win it's a joke because they already got it done. But I'm just saying, would that be one of Doc's best coaching jobs?
It might be given who he's got, because usually he has like a star team
right
under him. So
wouldn't have Giannis the whole series. Dame for the first 3. Somehow wins in 7.
Yeah, I think it's going to go down as probably long term, probably forgotten.
Oh yeah,
but it should be remembered that he managed to do that, and then that will make the move look better. Because would Adrian Griffin be doing this? Imagine if the Bucks. What if the Bucks somehow slotted into the 3 seed with Griffin as coach? Yeah, and we don't know. Maybe Griffin would have figured it out in the final few weeks. I don't know. Maybe he would have.
I think there's another thing too that we're seeing. To go back to last year, Jay Crowder didn't play at all last night. Coach's decision. He didn't play. He didn't log a minute. And you're looking at what he is. The amount of time he's played in the playoffs. A team that's shorthanded, right? In this postseason, he played none last night. He played 13 minutes the other night. He played 2 minutes on Friday, 15 and 12. Was Mike Budenholzer right?
Maybe.
I mean, Jay Crowder started off the season playing a lot of minutes under Adrian Griffin. Then he got hurt, and he still played some minutes under Doc and such. But since the postseason, he has averaged 10.5 minutes with a shortened team.
So that also speaks poorly to John Horst.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep saying this. Not all of Horst's moves have been that great. He's had some moves. He's had some really good ones. Some ones that have not worked out at all. And maybe the Crowder one is that.
Mm-hmm. Now, could it just be, hey, you know what? Maybe Doc thinks Crowder's a bad matchup for the Pacers. And I don't know. But I think it's kind of telling that your top 2 guys are hurt and you've already got a short team. Doc, we know, doesn't use the bench a whole lot, but especially in last night, 0 minutes.
Watch Crowder go for 25 and a win tonight.
Yeah, right. Or tomorrow night, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, cool. That explains that.
Mm-hmm. But that's good. That when I saw that last night, I'm like, ooh, okay, interesting. Because he's known for defense, right?
Yeah.
No,
you might need some defense tomorrow night in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Saying.
Yeah. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off here. So coming up next, we got a little business of sports we're going to hit to. We're going to get back to some more baseball talk. Last I checked, Pat Murphy has not been ejected yet today. So we're good to go.
Yeah, the day is still young.
It is still young. So 2 in. We got 1 more to go here. We'll be back after these news updates. Third and final hour on this Wednesday morning of May 1st coming at you. Big thanks for tuning in and making us part of your start. We're going to get back to some more baseball talk coming up here. Brewers, a few hours from now, first pitch, 12:10. You can catch that at 105.1 FM and 790 AM as they try to win the series against the Rays before an off day tomorrow, and then traveling south to Wrigley Field to take on former friend Craig Counsell and the Chicago Cubs. The Brewers currently holding a half-game lead over the Cubs for first place in the division. Meanwhile, the Twinnies taking advantage of their schedule. Now 9 wins in a row for your Minnesota Twins. So we will get to some baseball talk coming up here momentarily. We begin, though, with our business of sports brought to you by Security Financial Bank. And let me lead it off here by just saying, could we get the return of this, Lucas? You know where I'm going now. Yeah, NBA on NBC, round ball lock.
It's like 90% of people getting excited about like caring about a sports rights deal because of that.
I'm raising my hand.
It's just, it's only that. People just want to hear the theme. Like, it's almost like they just want to hear that. And then maybe we'll watch the game. Maybe we'll watch the highlights in YouTube. But they're going to tune in at 7 o'clock. Oh, boy.
John Tesh is going to become relevant again. So,
yes.
Our business of sports, again, brought to you by Security Financial Bank. We are talking about a report that NBC plans a $2.5 billion offer in a bid to nab NBA rights from TNT. $2.5 billion a year for the rights for NBA.
In a related story, Peacock subscription rates are going up by $2.
Oh, weird.
Huh. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when Peacock is streaming an NFL
Oh,
game.
yeah. Sorry, Packers fans. That first game's on Peacock, too.
$2 more. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But
unless you local markets like Milwaukee and Green Bay, then it's free.
So spend like a $40 on gasoline so you can drive over to Green Bay to watch the game for free.
But there you have it. So I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know the whole deal. This is a report out there right now. But, you know, when I hear TNT potentially, you know, elbowing out TNT, does that mean the end of Charles and Shaq and Kenny, the Jets, and
Shaq, Ernie.
Kenny, I couldn't think of Ernie's. Chuck. Yeah, Ernie Turner. Yeah. So I wanted to keep calling him Ernie Turner for some reason. But I don't, maybe NBC would bring, you got to bring Ernie Johnson with, you know.
What I've been reading about this, there's a lot of theories about what's going to potentially happen. I think some of this was contractually written and given the possibility of what could happen with future rights deals, etc. But one possibility is a shared studio show inside the NBA on TNT still and NBC. Does it become like a standalone on TNT? There's plenty of people that habitually would tune in there.
Yeah.
This keeps NBC. Part of the theory is this would keep NBC from having to pay for fully pay for a studio show with there's a lot that goes into a studio show. This isn't as much as we joke about like ESPN mailing in their studio NBA coverage, which is really not that great. I mean, you still got to pay for the people to be on there. All there's a lot. So you wouldn't have to do all of that if you're sharing inside the NBA. And there is a little bit of talk of a partnership between, what was it, WBG, Warner Brothers Group, or Warner Brothers Distribution, and NBC Universal. Some way, somehow, this could work out. So I think, okay, would people be, and I say somewhat superficially because this does not actually involve the games, which is what matters, but would people be more happy to get Round Ball Rock as a regular part of our NBA lives? Understand, mind you, though, that apparently not for the NBA Finals and possibly not even for the conference finals, because that might be on Amazon. So this might be for select regular season games.
I need the Bob Costas commentaries before the NBA Finals.
Can he
on
just
NBC?
Can they just bring him on to do that? Because he's not with NBC. Couldn't they? let's bring this fully around, and ABC can hire him and do a little thing before.
I was talking about if they go back to NBC.
Oh yeah, if they did. Well,
Yeah.
but if he could.
Yeah. The whole, I just remember the Jordan ones. Whenever he would, go on there, then it's like to the intro,
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, get the ramp underneath. Or would people be more upset that Inside the NBA dissolves? Ernie goes one place, Chuck goes one place, Kenny retires, Shaq does Shaq things, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And NBC comes up with what they're forced to come up with whatever, and everyone is complaining because NBC is an inferior show, and ESPN is still trying to cram in sound bites into 15-second takes and with a million commercials.
Yeah.
What a pro wants.
Oh, don't, because Hudson sings that around the house. That song.
I am sorry.
Oh my gosh!
I actually finally saw that because I really haven't been watching the linear versions of all the games, so I missed most of that. I finally watched that commercial this morning. Look, one time it's okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he just the other night in his room because he was watching a basketball game. I could hear him saying, "What a pro wants, what a pro needs." And then Veronica's like, "You do know that's based off a real song, Christina Aguilera, What a Girl Want?" No, it's not.
See, because of the talk of that, I've had What a Girl Wants stuck on my head
of
late, which actually is it's legit good pop song. This commercial, I get it, but for those who don't know,
Chet Holmgren and Alexander, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yes.
Don't play it.
I'm not. I will put it this way, folks. If you really want to know what we're talking about, watch literally any NBA playoff game.
Yeah.
Give it like an hour and you will regret it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty awful. So
it's kind of up there with the Burger King ads from a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we might be stuck with that, but no Inside the NBA. What do you think people would be more upset about? No Inside the NBA, or would they be happier to get Round Ball Rock back?
Younger fans, I think, would be upset about no Inside the NBA. Older fans like me with the nostalgia, give me Round Ball Rock.
Yeah, it's probably generational.
Yep. Give me the Round Ball Rock. And here's the thing, I will tune in for the intro, and that's about it, depending on the game.
I've done that before. There are certain times I would only watch a game for the introduction, depending on the quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But I do think because it's such a, seemingly critical show to media world, to the talk of the NBA, which again, none of that is critical in reality. But for that world, it's maybe the most important part. There will be a way made somehow to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
I've got based on, again, what some of the projections of what potentially could come together. So if these are projections, there's something to this, and it's going to happen. That means we may now. Here's where I wonder, where's Inside the NBA fully going to be on NBC? Like, is this going to be 7:00 on a Sunday night, and then Inside the NBA is on after that? Because what about the local affiliates? And like around here, like, sorry, WAU 13 News starts at 11:45 because we needed to get Shaq and Kenny takes in for an hour. Like, a lot of affiliates are not going to want that at all for an NBA game in March. No. That's where I wonder if that becomes a Peacock thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or do they reverse it? I know the best part of the show is after the games because they're reacting, but does it go on like Football Night in America? And please don't rebrand it as Basketball Night in America. I know that's an NBC thing. Don't call it Inside the NBA.
Because with football over there, yeah.
Well, plus, that's not that far from what NBC did with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
NBA Inside Stuff. Would you be okay with the rebranding to NBA Inside Stuff with Ahmad Rashad starting to make occasional cameos?
Summer Sanders. Yeah.
Willow.
Yeah. She's on ESPN. She used to be on there, I think, for a little bit. Oh, she's an anchor on ESPN now. What's her name?
Is it Linda Cohn?
Nope. She might have been on the NBA and NBC basketball coverage. Oh,
I am so blanking right now.
I'm gonna look it up right now and tell you who it is, because you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, her. Yeah. What is her name? I can picture her." Okay, I'll figure it out here.
Okay,
yeah. because she was. I think she was actually on the halftime show for NBA and NBC, and she's on ESPN now. I think she's still on ESPN right now.
Oh boy, I will have to. Hannah Storm.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, there
Hannah
you go.
Storm. Yes, yep. Bring her back too.
See, we can make everyone can be happy here.
Mhm.
There are ways to do this. I'd like that. I mean, if they could somehow bring in Ahmad Rashad, look, he's what, in the 70s now? I mean,
he's hanging out though isn't he just like hanging out with a bunch of people, Jordan and such at basketball games now and all that?
Actually, he's 74.
Ooh, okay.
I know, like Ahmad Rashad looked like he was 40 for the longest time, like well after his playing career. Remember, he was drafted in 1972. He was the 4th overall pick in the 1972 draft by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well,
interesting. He retired after the 1982 season with the Vikings.
All right.
He's been out of the NFL a long time. Okay, so yeah, he's up there. That being said, I would totally want to see him on as a guest guy. Now, and if this happens, NBC resist the temptation to go all NFL pregame show and have 6 or 7 people on set at any given moment. Please. You don't just need to add people because reasons.
Right.
Side note, props to CBS for trimming the NFL today.
Yes, they did. No Phil Simms and no Boomer.
No, and not to say that they're bad at it, but something needed to be done.
You needed some fresh blood.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's going on there too, so.
Honestly, I probably could have done without Bill Cowher too.
Yeah.
But we're moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so.
Do you think this deal gets done, though, with NBC?
Yes.
You do?
NBC has been talked about a lot as a potential player, and now that they're potentially outbidding Warner, and there's I could be wrong on this, but I want to say I think it might have been some of their upper management. It was like, yeah, we don't necessarily need to have basketball. There was some executive with some major organization that was like, yeah, maybe not. And I want to say it was the Warner Turner folks at some point. I would not be surprised if this is the end game here. But NBC clearly wants in. They want to do more with Peacock. They want to put more live sports on Peacock. I think the other reason why for the cost increase on Peacock going from $5.99 to $7.99 is the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's going to be so much there, especially with it being in Paris, being 7 hours ahead. So many people are going to be watching Peacock and watching all sorts of stuff in real time during the day over here in the States. So yeah, it dovetails with streaming initiatives of the NBA, how they want to be very progressive with media coverage. And NBC's got that where Warner and Turner, I mean, yeah, they have streaming platforms, but as much as we think of Peacock as 2nd or 3rd tier, it's more than what you can imagine from Turner and Warner, unless, again, I'm forgetting something. I know there's Max. Yeah, but Peacock seems to have a little bit more going for it right now, especially in the sports world. Interesting.
All right. Excuse me here for a sec. But Jake from State Farm, have you guys ever heard of Superbox? It's like a set top box that you buy for $250, and you get a pile of channels, all of UFC pay-per-view fights, every single football, hockey, NBA, and baseball game that's on. NFL Red Zone, absolutely insane. Not illegal. You can buy them at Walmart, Amazon, or online.
Wow. I have not. I'm looking it up right now.
I've looked at it. I'm curious if anybody has it. For me, I'm looking at local channels here. And regional locals. The only Wisconsin one I've seen is coming from Madison, it looks like. So, I mean, yeah, you got antenna and such that there's a Green Bay one in there too. So I'd be curious if anybody actually has it and their thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked it up. It's $330 on Walmart right now. It looks like only one review. So I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I would rather hear from people around here that have it before I would actually seriously consider it.
And then, of course, comes the question of what's the thing that you're missing.
Right, exactly.
Maybe not. Maybe you got everything in there, but
you're just telling me it's a one-time fee, right? But then there's a monthly thing after. That's what I would have to know.
Yeah. Well, and okay, speaking of
what's the catch?
Right. Well, considering or talking of consolidating, TNT loses the NBA. they're part of that sports Hulu thing.
Yeah.
If you will, that sort of thing. But now that package wouldn't have the NBA on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it less intriguing.
I'd be curious to hear from people like during the for sporting events. For me personally, okay, do the Packer games actually show on this thing?
Yeah.
That's all I care about. How about Brewers games? Are Brewers games on there or anything like that, or Bucks game? I don't know. That's what I would like to know.
Side note, I'm glad I'm not a Comcast subscriber in the Twin Cities. Now that Bally Sports is off Comcast for the rest of the year, and Comcast has a pretty big presence over in Minnesota, so a whole lot of Twins fans, sorry, you don't get to watch the team. But the good news is the Twins got money from Bally Sports, so they could not spend it on their players, and now their team is not on TV.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Good job.
Yeah. So
there does seem to be a lot of catches with a lot of these things. Like, okay, with the Packers, you get like a digital receiver. You can watch it over the air in most cases, but not necessarily all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll be curious to hear from some people if they have it.
Yeah.
So all right. Let's take a quick break and we'll get back to some baseball talk. Your 20s are on a 9-game winning streak. Brewers finally end their 3-game losing streak. They're back in first place, though, but some drama from yesterday. They'll try to win the series against Tampa just a few hours from now. So let's talk some baseball coming up after these quick words. Are you looking to get your name out in the public eye more? Do you need some apparel, some drinkware, or maybe some signage done up? Whatever marketing materials you may be looking for, Resonance Branding Company has a wide range of items to help make your brand stand out from the competition. All your branding needs in one convenient place. Resonance is here to save you time, money, and headaches, and they can also set you up with an online store to sell your items as well. So let me simply ask you, does your brand resonate? Andrew says here, let me bring it up, says his boss and his uncle both have that super box, and you can virtually get every single channel and even streaming services. Pretty sure that cable is trying to get it legally blocked, so maybe it won't be around long term. But right now, it's an amazing way to get all your sports at that are reasonably priced and a one-time fee. So, I wonder. I'm assuming with a bot, like the one thing I could think of, the counter would be like, okay, so like I have Hulu, I can watch Hulu on my phone or tablet. You know, I'm assuming with a box you can't do that. There's no app to download or something like that.
Probably not. No.
Like if I'm traveling, I'll watch a game, you know, on my phone or tablet.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing to do. You know,
right? Of course.
So
mobile is good.
Easy for tailgate parties too.
Very true.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Yeah.
I suppose you could bring the box to a tailgate party if you had a TV set up, but
yeah, I mean, are you doing this on a regular basis? All that sort of stuff.
Well, hey, we got the mobile man cave now, so you know we might have to set up a TV in there.
That's right.
Little TV tube in there.
Could you have the box going around in there? Ideas. Yeah.
Talk to the boss on that one. So
get its own Wi-Fi thing.
Get a little hotspot going.
Yeah. So what is that going to show up on my iPhone when I'm nearby it?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. We'll have to come up with a good name for that.
Yeah, that's important because people are. It's got to get.
Nobody go on it though, because I probably need every amount of juice I possibly can on that thing. So
you're just gonna let it be like Netgear 80.
Yeah.
No one will know that's what it is.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna need I was already looking at like power supply things last night.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
could you do like solar on it? And so
there was one that had a solar thing on there. Yeah. Yep.
Have like a little nuclear generator in there.
Because who knows where we're going to go with that thing?
Yeah, I mean,
you know, might not have a power outlet over there.
Right. Look, you got to generate power somehow.
I envision it like the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, how they do it in their bus. Have you seen that?
I've not.
It's from Barstool.
Okay.
So like Will Compton, Taylor Lewan, former players and that. So
okay.
Yeah, they literally sit in their bus and do their show. So got to get some decor to put in there though in the back. I mean, you can't call it a man cave if there's nothing hanging up on the walls, right?
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm looking up. That's wow.
The Bussin' with the Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, the challenge is on for the Dan van. For sure.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I gotta get creative with this thing. But I might need some help from some people over there too. So
that's okay. You can trick it out.
You know what? I think now I know what I'm gonna use with all my extra soundproof foam that I just got laying in my attic. Just thought of that after looking at this picture. So
resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So all right. I might have to take the van this weekend and just kind of get a game plan set up at home. So I gotta dig through the boxes and see what extra crap I have that I don't have hanging up anymore. See if I can just put it up in there.
That's your extra spot.
Yeah, that's the overflow.
Leftovers.
That's the overflow, right?
It's the overflow.
I think there's actually a box downstairs that's got overflow from the studio in there. So I'll have to go through that.
The mobile man cave, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep, definitely.
You need to have at least one animal on there, like a deer head or a fish.
I did think about that, actually.
That'd be really fun.
I think I need an old school Welcome Hunters sign in there.
Something wood carved. Some slogan with like wood carved with paint in the middle.
Or you know what? One of my best friends, his dad's a taxidermist. He might have something laying around. Maybe a stuffed blue jay or I don't know. Raccoon or fox. Just, you know, now we're talking.
You could get like double meaning with this and get like all stuffed animals for like arch brewer rivals. So like a stuffed cardinal, okay, maybe a stuffed cub might be a little mean, but I get it.
I'm on the hunt now for something for a stuffed animal, just a random one.
It could be anything.
That's going to be our mascot in there.
Stuffed
Anybody's got one that they want to donate, tell me what it is first. They'll just drop off something. I remember when I was a kid when Gander Mountain was where I think Joanne Fabrics is now.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid making trips to Eau Claire and going into Gander Mountain, and they had, I always wanted one, but I was a kid and it was expensive to me. Jackalope, rabbit with the antlers.
Whoa.
That would have been that would be perfect for this.
Anybody got a jackalope?
I remember seeing those like at Gander Mountain. I'm like, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I should text my buddy's dad and see if he's got anything later.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's advertise it for him, right?
Let's do this.
Yeah. We need the mascot. We need the mascot. What should our mascot be?
A stuffed jackalope.
And is there something that's out there stuffed?
And what would you name it? Because it's got to have a name. If it's a mascot.
I think we got to find out what it is first.
Yeah.
And then we open it up to our very smart audience to come up with names.
The people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No dogs or cats no, we're not doing that. That's just no.
It gets creepy.
It does. And I'm a dog guy too. So no, we're not going to do that one. Just no. So
we're not pinning up a dead cat against the wall.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
Nope.
Could pin a rally monkey up there.
Dude, I used to collect rally monkeys.
Oh my gosh. You're not even an angel. We're not even close to Southern California.
But I was into it.
Wow.
I might still. Do I have them or did I get rid of them? No, I had a rally monkey for the Brewers because I think I found it at Miller Park. I had a rally monkey for the Packers, and I had a rally monkey for North Carolina.
That spread way more than I imagined because I still associated with the Angels in 02.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I should see if I still have those somewhere.
Wow.
I don't know if I do. Maybe. But that would be something.
My gosh.
I can bring those back.
So you're going to be that guy that puts like all the rally monkeys with all the different colors in the dashboard arranged in color or approximate color order. Like people will sometimes put those, whatever those little things are, because I always see them like
ducks.
Fleeting. Yeah. It's so fleeting because I can't tell exactly what it is, but like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
It's because you automatically get one when you do the Hudson has like 500 of them.
So you're going to put rally monkeys all in the front.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't even know if they make them anymore.
Probably not. You probably find them on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Lots if you wanted to deck it out. And you're okay, but then
I forgot about the rally monkeys.
See, but the thing is, though, then you got to be careful because then it turns into like what happens at a lot of shows where they like have a few collectibles and then they keep adding, and then it looks like junk behind them. It happens on like every TV show, and I know this isn't a TV show.
Well, look at Dan Patrick's.
Right.
You know, his desk is just no.
I know, like this PTI that happened.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a fan of that. And look,
that's why I've downsized in here.
Look, I'm a collector, but at a certain point, you're like, just stop.
We might have to put one of the softball trophies in there. Spread the wealth.
Not the beer can, though.
No.
Because that would break really, really fast.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it would survive the walk out to the parking lot, which is not that long of a walk.
Yeah, there's some, I don't know how it's standing right now.
It hasn't melted in the heat in this building?
That's true. Well,
it's turned into a pool of molten aluminum.
Yeah. Ooh. C-Bomb, do you have a stuffed muskrat? I don't know. I thought C-Bomb one time said he had a stuffed perch. I don't want a fish, I don't think. I think we need a different animal. I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll think about it. But yeah, see, now we're rolling. We need, I have a friend of mine that I think in his man cave, it was left over from a house that he bought. It was like a yellow raccoon.
What?
I think it was.
That's a thing?
I think it was. I'd have to reach out to him. This was a few years ago, but yeah, like it was left at his house and now it's just a part of his man cave.
Wow.
So,
that's, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe get a picture of that and put that up there.
I might have. I'll do some digging.
Okay, here's the one other thing that you would need in this, and we're still talking about a vehicle where like a handful of people see it. You need like an outdoors painting.
An outdoors painting?
Like a painting of like a nice outdoor setting, like a lake with a moon, something like that.
Well, our photographer friend Tim might have something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, probably so. Oh, he would help out with that.
Yeah.
That's a lock.
Yeah.
For sure. And then you're upgrading from painting to actual photography.
It's classy, Luke. Okay, we got to keep it some sort of classy here.
Well, of course, and that would be the thing.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, our former coworker and current friend Tim is. You've seen his photography on Facebook. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good.
I'm going to see if I can find this yellow badger. Anyways, while I do that, baseball. Brewers picking up a win yesterday. Your Twinnies, 9 wins in a row. I'm just going to straight up ask you about your Twins.
Okay.
Is it just straight up 9 wins in a row because of who they're playing?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But, okay, those are the teams you also need to beat. If you're projected to be maybe as high as an 89-win team, you need to be beating the White Sox and the current Angels the way the Angels have been playing of late. And I know the White Sox kind of had their way with the Rays recently, but by and large, and they're getting they're getting a little better in terms of personnel. Still, you should be beating them. You should be sweeping them. Well, they swept the White Sox, they swept the Angels, and they're on the verge of a sweep of the White Sox. If they lose today, they still win this series in sorry, I still call it Comiskey. This
I still do too.
I'm guaranteed right field with a red arrow pointing down. Stop. It's good. Beat those teams. It'll get tougher eventually. Of course it will. You're playing like the only way it could get easier is if they had like a home and home with the Marlins. The Marlins are bad right now. But cool that now they're back in contention in the division. They dug a big hole. They've dug back out of that hole. Now, the problem for them, the reason why you don't dig holes in the first place is that maybe your competition in the division it turns out to be better than expected. I figured like maybe 1 or 2 of these teams is going to be pretty. I did not think Detroit and Kansas City and Cleveland were all going to be really good this year, at least to start. And there's going to be regression to the mean. They're not all going to hold. Cleveland's not going to have the best record in baseball throughout the rest of the season. But they've won enough, and there's enough going right there. I don't see them falling to, like, well, I won't even say last place because the White Sox have clinched that, I think, already. But the Twins will have some work for them. The good news for them, though, also, they did a lot of this without Correa or Lewis. Correa's now back. Duran is now back as well. Joan Duran is finally coming back. They're starting to get a little healthier. Lewis has still got a few more weeks, but he'll be back. So it's moving in the right direction on the field. But I do want to see them against better competition to see if this holds. At least they've gotten out of the depths of where they were. 7-13 was not a good spot, and now they're what, 15-13?
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, they really changed it around
16-13 now would be the record. So we'll see what they do this afternoon.
I did find a picture, by the way. It is a yellow raccoon. So you want me to text it to you quick?
Yes, do that.
All right.
That's incredible.
So
the personality of the Brewers this season, we were already talking about, hey, there's a little bit of chippiness and a little bit of aggression. Is this, do we need to maybe find some barriers on that a little bit? Or what do you think of this? What's your take on this very feisty Brewers team this season? I kind of like it.
But give me, why do you think they're feisty? Because they're getting jobbed by bad calls?
No, like overall, like this. Some teams really react, and some just kind of seem to go along with the flow. This is a reactive, and this is not a bad thing.
I think they take on the personality of their manager.
Right. That's the thing. This is very. Gosh, we can say this on May 1st of his first season as a manager. This is a Pat Murphy team. I don't know how I would ever have called a team a Pat Murphy team before. I wouldn't have known what to say, even with him being a baseball lifer. This is a Pat Murphy team. Like, this team really cares about a lot of stuff. I mean, don't want to see swings being thrown. That was incredible last night that we actually had, like, legit, like, arm swings, punches being thrown, and yet none of them landed.
Slaps, hand slaps.
Well, yeah, the first one was totally a face slap.
Yeah.
It was not a punch, a slap. But still, like, usually it's a hold me back. You're not going to do anything. This was legit. It was kind of remarkable where you kind of got the look on the players' faces looking at all the replays like, whoa. Okay, we need to, like, actually break this up. This is bad. Like, you can tell that teams, they also know at what point, like, they're all good with, again, a hold me back kind of brawl, which really isn't a brawl, and they're all looking at each other. But then when someone actually starts swinging and they don't stop, then everyone switches into, whoa, no. Like, come on, guys. This isn't that big of a deal.
Right.
But still, I got to imagine that the players are all in, to use that term again, on Pat Murphy. The way he's standing up for his team this year. Not to say anything about council, that's nothing to do. But I have to imagine the chemistry's got to be really good in the clubhouse right now.
Oh, yeah. I think it is. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So, could last all season long, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Surpassing expectations, I think, right?
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of grades, ESPN, I don't know if you saw, they graded all the teams thus far this year. Brewers got an A.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wide expanse of grades across the league. But they basically laid it out. Like, if you had known pitchers going down, pitchers being traded, Craig Counsell leaves, one of their top batters is out for 11 games, and they would be first place team and looking pretty good. No, not at all.
Right.
So it's a great performance. Contreras is wow. You think Contreras is going to make?
He's definitely. I'm biased.
All-star?
Oh yes. I was going to say he right now, if we did 1 month and change in, he should be talked about as an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Just say
Mm-hmm.
he's the best player right now on that team, and they're first place. He's been super consistent throughout the whole month and change.
I mean, I think Mookie Betts, based on the way he started the season, and because he's Mookie Betts and he plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers,
And that's why the MVP discussion pisses me off.
I mean, though the American League is probably more fair right now. Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. are probably, again, 1 month out of 6. There's a lot of time to go. But Witt and Hunt and Henderson are the very early front runners. They're not playing for the Yankees. They're not a super front runner. But Betts is playing well enough. I mean, of course, right now. But if Contreras keeps this up, he's going to get dark horse votes at a minimum.
He should.
Maybe he should be an all-star starter at catcher.
Yeah, I mean, the NL, was a couple weeks ago we were looking, I know Will Smith was putting up some good numbers too for the Dodgers at the catching position.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, come on now. What Contreras is doing just consistently, and you look at the Brewers overall, hell yeah. Heck yes. I mean, come on. Last catcher to win MVP. Do you know it off the top of your head?
Was that Joe Mauer or Buster Posey? Or are we going back to Johnny Bench?
It would be Buster Posey.
Okay.
Joe Mauer won it in 2009, Buster Posey in 2012, it looks like.
Okay. I can't remember. Did Johnny Bench ever win it? Let
me bring it up here. Let me see. You know what? We'll take a break, and then I'll look it up.
And I should say quickly, Contreras is ESPN's pick right now for All-Star for NL.
Perfect. I like it. All right, quick break. We'll do some picks and predicts coming up after these quick words. We're getting set for another busy travel season, vacations, taking our kiddos to all their games, activities, and events, and you need a proper vehicle to get you to where you're going and safely. That's where Toyson Ford can help you out. Toyson Ford will go the extra mile to provide you with compelling options for new and used car shopping. They'll gladly work with you on financing no matter what your budget may be. They're committed to giving drivers across the Chippewa Valley the best in customer service. Check them out for yourself. Visit Toyson Ford today at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls and visit them online at toysonford.net. Toyson Ford, also one of the Mobile Man Cave Dan Van sponsors too. So, speaking of which, Jake says he's got a Badger legally acquired, as he says, for the record. I don't know if that means he's willing to donate it. Otherwise, C-Bomb said he will have to find the perch. So at bare minimum, we may have a perch for the Mobile Man Cave. I'll take anything at this point. I'll take anything. So, Luke, do you have anything laying around? Luke? No. Did I hear like laughing in the background?
I wasn't sure what was going on. They're like, we're interrupting the show again. Suckers.
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
So anyway, Badgers.
Badger, or at bare minimum, we may have a perch if C-Bomb can find it. Bare minimum, but I think we can do better than a perch. But I'll take anything right now. It's kind of like trading up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guppy or something like that.
No. We'll call it perchy. We'll come up with better. I wonder if the DNR has anything to donate.
You think so?
I'll have to ask Jake when he's on tomorrow.
Gotta find something. Come on. Someone can donate one thing over to throw in that?
Well, garage sale season. We gotta send Murph on a garage sale quest, see if he can find something.
Oh, he would.
You know?
Tell him to go look at garage sales.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's like saying, hey, Dan, would you like to go work for the Packers for a year?
Just a year?
Right. I mean, and we're going to pay you $1 million.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, of course. It's the equivalent of John Murphy in a garage sale, like a thon, if you will. Yeah, of course.
We're going to get something.
Be careful. You're going to get way more than you're asking for.
That's true.
That's the problem. We're going to need another Dan van.
As much as I would love like a moose head, that's just a little too big. So
nope. There's going to be at least 16
we
animals.
We can put it on the top.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I better back up a little bit.
Be careful.
By the way, yes, Johnny Bench did win 2 MVPs as catcher. Yogi's got 3 of them.
By the way,
Roy Campanella's got 3.
Did you mention Nolan Ryan in all the baseball things that happened this day?
I did not.
Nolan
what else
Ryan's
do we got?
7th no-hitter in 1991 in Texas.
May 1st is like baseball history galore.
I'm telling you, you got to watch, just watch games today. Something might happen.
Holy moly.
If you've got, if you've got what's the streaming service? Well, wait, it gets blacked out everywhere anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just pay attention to baseball today. Unless you're a Twins fan, then you can't watch it because, oh boy, that is not, I'm bringing it up again. There's some angry Twins fans over there. Let's just say in terms of management and ownership, that is one of the least liked groups in Major League Baseball.
Between Twins and Wolves, which one's better?
Ooh, tough one. Wow. I'm going to have to think about that. And I may have to give you the answer next week.
All right.
Because that's a complex one, and I've got some history with that, obviously. I'm going back and forth. I can't answer, and I know we got other stuff to do. So I'm going to punt for a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't give you a super complex answer, but I need time to think, so it's not a super complex answer.
Got it. Wow. All right, let's do some picks and predicts. We got, we'll run through these here quickly. Miami at Boston tonight. Will Boston close it out?
Yes.
Ditto. I think so, too.
And a spread of 14. I don't know that they cover, but they're done.
Yeah. Dallas at the Clippers, tied at 2-piece.
Man, I don't know.
Probably the best series so far in the first round?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to take Dallas with the points. Because Luka, wow.
By the way, Kyrie at the end of that game, was it on Sunday? Reminded me of Cleveland Kyrie.
Ooh, that's praise.
It is. That one shot that he made driving the lane. I don't know how he made that thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I've not watched that play.
He drove to the lane, 3 defenders, arms up. Then he kind of like brought the ball back as he's falling down and lofted it up and made it.
Okay, no, now I know what you're. I saw a photo of that.
Yeah.
It's like someone said this is like witchcraft. What
Yeah.
he's doing.
I'm like, okay, this is Cleveland Kyrie from 2016 right now.
Which between him and Luka going up against OKC, there's part of me that as a Wolves fan, if I'm thinking if they could get past Denver, which I mean the safe pick is Denver in the series.
Yeah.
But if they can, I kind of would rather not play the Thunder. I think they got a better shot against even the way Dallas is playing right now. I wouldn't trust them to get all the way to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
But so I might be rooting for them right now. But yeah, I picked the Mavs.
I'm gonna go Clippers. I mean, James Harden did have a good game that day too, and so I'm gonna go Clippers with it being at home.
Side note: notice how a lot of the so-called problem child players are not problem
Yeah,
children,
right?
They're actually like legit NBA players. Like it's not all the off-court stuff. They're playing okay, good.
Yep,
drama-free. I like this.
I do too.
Just play.
I do too. All right, a couple of Stanley Cup playoff games. Vegas at Dallas. Series is tied at 2 apiece.
Man, this is closer than I think a lot of people would have imagined. And Vegas really should be up 3-1. It's a heck of a comeback from them. And they, I think they're going to win tonight.
Vegas?
No.
Oh, Dallas? Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. The fighting former North Stars will win tonight. So
there we go. I'm good with that one.
Kings at Edmonton. Edmonton leads 3-1.
Yeah, the Oilers close this out.
Connor McDavid, the fighting Connor McDavid's win. So that was my Stanley Cup pick. So let's do some quick baseball picks today here. Well, let's go. Do the Twins get 10 in a row?
I'm gonna say no. That's tough to do anyway. I think I don't know how much I trust Bailey Ober. He looked better in his last start.
Because they've been threading it these last couple of games too.
They have. It's close. I think the White Sox break the streak.
I'm gonna go White Sox too.
Yeah,
but way to bounce back into it, guys.
Yes.
Nice work. So
good. That's good.
Dodgers at Arizona.
Ooh, the no B edition. Side note,
right.
Look at the Diamondbacks Twitter account.
Gosh.
Every so often you get some social media manager that gets it.
Yeah.
And whomever that person is, they got it.
Yep.
Let's see. So that is Yamamoto. It's recovered after the beginning of the season.
And Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery.
By the way, did you see that catch from Yamamoto a few days ago?
I did not.
Oh, line right at him. I showed it to Hudson. Hudson thought it hit him in the head.
Ooh.
Oh, no, it was a snag. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take the Dodgers. Diamondbacks, they're not off to the best start. I'll take LA.
I'm going to go Dodgers too. Let's go with the Giants at Boston.
Red Sox pitching is good. That's surprisingly good. I say the Sox take it.
I'm going to go.
Giants are just they're not getting everything together.
I'm going to go Red Sox as well. Let's go Cubbies at the Mets.
Ooh. Imanaga is great. 0.98 ERA for the Cubs. I'll take Chicago.
I'll go Chicago too. And then let's go. We'll do one more before the Brewers. Kansas City at Toronto.
Oh boy. I'll take the Blue Jays in this one. I just don't have a good feel for it, but I'll take the Blue Jays.
I'll go Blue Jays too. And then finally, we got the Crew versus Tampa. Colin Ray on the mound for the Crew. Zach Eflin for the Rays.
The conclusion to the Chippy series.
Is this a new rivalry brewing between two teams that are built same way
and won't play each other again for a very long time?
World Series, man.
Side note, there's part of me that wonders the way that the calls have been going against the Brewers. Like, are they doing this for the opponent? Then I stop and go, hang on. Under what scenario, if you believe in the conspiracy stuff, is Major League Baseball tipping the scales for the Tampa Bay Rays?
Right.
No. Yankees, I totally understand that. The Rays are like the polar opposite. I'll take the Brewers.
I'm going to go Brewers too. They're going to lay down the wood today. Double-digit runs.
They're going to be really feisty. Like, all right, Let's get this done.
We're going to get over 10 runs today.
Thanks, crew.
Write it down.
Then
when you walk off the field, just point at the umpire crew.
Is Pat Murphy ejected again?
No.
No, he's not.
No. But I want, if anybody remembers, remember the Titans? Is it Bertrand, the linebacker? That one game when he runs up to the opposing sideline and just points to that opposing coach because he was a jerk. That's what the Brewers should do after this game.
Thing is, then, like, the umpire would find some loophole to suspend everyone for like the next game.
But it would be so worth it.
Well, as long as they can win the next game in Chicago.
Just point to him. I've always wanted to do that to somebody. And just stare down at him.
Yeah. The stare is one of the best things to do. Don't even point. Just look.
Mm-hmm.
Just look.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it. DP and Danitz, they're up next. Don't forget Brewers, first pitch, about 12:10 coverage will begin. 11:35, radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Have a good rest of your day. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Talk to you then.